GeogAtoZ, supporting the National Festival of Fieldwork from the Geographical Association. Do join in and get the children outdoors thinking about grid references. Make sure that you teach them the 4 and 6 figure grid references quite carefully, but remember to remind them that at the start of those, wherever you are in Great Britain, you need to include the 2 letters that you can see on the screen that correlate to the grid square that you're actually in, because a grid reference of 1, 2, 3, 4 in SK will be different to 1, 2, 3, 4 in NY. So make sure those letters go at the beginning of those grid references. So this is all part of the Ordnance Survey's national grid. If you've not heard of this before, do make sure that you use this map to pinpoint the exact location anywhere on the map. And there's more information on the fact sheet there. But how could we use this more generally? What's one great resource that you could take from this? So in the classroom, before you go out and do some field work, you could start to compare and contrast the different grid squares. So ways you could use this are as follows. We live in TQ, as an example, in the south east of England. What national grid squares are to the north of us? How many are there? Look at OV, pretty much just got water in it. How interesting that is. If you wanted to go to Manchester as a city, which grid square would you find it in? So you need to compare and contrast this to an atlas, compare and contrast the shape, the coastline, the other significant features like the rivers that you might see on there to the actual master map. So Manchester would be SD, I'd suggest, possibly SJ. Quite hard to tell unless I actually look at a map and think, okay, well, where's the Mersey? Where are other parts that I could pick out on that particular map? So just from memory, I'm going to say SD, but it could well be SJ. I'm actually questioning myself live in front of you all. The River Severn, which squares would that be in? And I have done the research for this one, the River Severn. Which squares would that be? Well, that would be starting off with SN, originating in the Cambrian Mountains, then flowing southeast through SO, Newtown and Welshpool, and then SJ, continuing eastward. That's why the Severn's so fascinating, because it seems to flow in every which way possible. It passes through Shropshire. And then you've got ST further downstream, flowing through the square, covering areas around Gloucester. And then finally ST, approaching its estuary, traverses the square, including areas near Bristol. So a really great journey of the grid squares on the master map from the Ordnance Survey that you could look into. What about this one? We live in Yorkshire. Look on the map, see if you can identify where Yorkshire is and which squares are that. The answers are as follows. So we start off with SE, and that includes York, Leeds, North, York Moors in the centre and the east areas. Then you've got SD, the western parts, the Yorkshire Dales near Skipton. Then you've got TA, the east coast regions, towns like Scarborough and Bridlington. Then you've got NZ, Teesside, North York Moors, SK, Sheffield, the Peak District, TF, Humber Estuary, SJ, parts of West Yorkshire, and then SP, the southernmost sections near Doncaster. So quite an impressive range just in one region of the UK. Of course, there'll be other regions that it touches as well. So that's part of the generalization that we need to come to. So have a look at the master map and see if you can investigate the correct one for Manchester. Is it SD or SJ? Have a look now.